This is a victory for some of us, but not necessarily all of us. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the Supreme Court blocking the vax mandate when it comes to private businesses with more than 100 employees, but also allowing the mandate when it comes to healthcare workers. Now, I'll explain both of those things in a minute, but first, I got to give a shout out to the Supreme Court, okay, because you guys made it happen. Shout out to all the conservatives on the bench and also John Roberts, who went against the three liberals on the bench to block the mandate when it comes to private business. And shout out to Trump for making it happen, because without Trump, what were we going to do? Because remember, he appointed not one, not two, but three Supreme Court justices, Amy Coney Barrett, Neil Gorsuch, and Brett Kavanaugh, right? And of course, shout out to the leader of the court, in my humble opinion, not John Roberts, but Justice Clarence Thomas, the best justice on the bench and arguably the best justice ever. And I'm not saying that because he's black. I'm saying it because it's the reality of the situation, especially right now, today. But I digress. Let's get to the good news, right? The private business vax mandate being blocked. Now, a lot of you guys have asked me about this. You call into my live show every Wednesday and Saturday, shameless promo. But you guys will call in and be like, hey, my job is talking about OSHA. They are mandating the vax, and I got a few more days to take it, and all this, that, and the third. They're talking about putting me on unpaid leave or like all kind of things. And the number one question was, should I stay or go? Now, if you get put on unpaid leave in that situation, I say don't quit, just stay on unpaid leave. You can find some other kind of work in the meantime. There ain't no sense in quitting if you are on unpaid leave. If you eventually do get fired, you can go ahead and sue, especially right now. That's ammunition right there. Hey, you guys discriminated against me, talking about some law that was not really on the books. And I have a medical condition, or not even a condition. I have a medical decision that I made that does not line up with what the government wants me to do. So should I get fired for that? I don't think so. And then some places might even bring you back, because maybe they don't want to do it. Maybe they don't want to have to pay that money that OSHA was going to fine them, like what, $13,000 or more per employee. They ain't want to pay that money. So now that the whole thing's been struck down, they may bring you back if you want to go back to that job. You know, a lot of you guys had really good jobs and they were acting up. So now the coast is clear. Now they still may try to have vax mandates for the company as a policy, but I'm not sure how that whole thing goes when there's no legal backing to support the vax mandate for a private business, right? I don't really see how that goes anywhere, so they should just rescind it. And the thing about OSHA, it was dumb. I think in the Supreme Court decision, or in their opinion, it might have been Gorsuch or Kavanaugh. I think it was Gorsuch talking about the federales using OSHA, which is the Occupational Safety and Health Administration. They want to use them to try and force the American people to get the vax, because they can't get Congress to act. They can't get Congress to make it to where you have to get the vax just because you're an American citizen. They can't do that, and they won't do that because that ain't going to fly. So they try to do it through the back door, but that's not going to get her done. Okay, OSHA is there if you get caught doing the Macarena or the Cha-Cha slide or some kind of honky-tonk line dance on the top of a forklift or a crane while holding a power tool while it's on. Okay, you got a chainsaw on the forklift dancing. That's an OSHA violation. You're going to get fired right away. There's probably going to be a fine. Okay, if you're on the work site, you got all kind of loose wires everywhere. I mean, you got hazards all over the place. That's OSHA violations. But the vax, how does that fit into an occupational hazard or some kind of health thing? Okay, now for the person who gets the vax, allegedly it helps them allegedly with their symptoms, but it does not stop the spread at all. So even if you could use OSHA to backdoor Congress and force the American people to get the vax, it's for no reason, because it doesn't do what they say it does. It does not really protect you in that way. It does not protect the spread of the bug. You can still catch it and spread it the same as everybody else. The only thing they say it does is maybe lower your symptoms if you catch it, but I digress. The whole point is that got blocked, and I'm glad that it did, because unconstitutional. You can't do it. I don't want to get it. That's just pretty much all that there is to it. Now, on the flip side, they did allow the vax mandate when you're talking about healthcare workers. Why? What's the reason why? It's because they receive Medicaid and Medicare. This means they're federally funded. And you know what? I've said it before. I've seen this coming. We're talking about having the government be in control. This is what big government does. When they fund you, they can control you. All right. People moving into these housing projects that's government subsidized, government controlled, government operated. You'll be the first ones that the government looks to when it wants certain things done. Okay, you living in this government housing, you living on welfare benefits. You are basically a ward of the state, even as an adult. You are a subject of the government directly because they pay for you. Without the government, you couldn't exist. Not the way you are right now, not in your comfort and your leisure. So guess what? Check it out. We control everything around you, so we're going to control how you live as well. Okay, you got a man in the house with all these. Nope, can't have a man in the house because you don't need the money. You got a guy in there, able-bodied. He can work. He can go out there and get some money. So you can't be in there. You got to get out. Single-parent household, we're going to control that. Okay, you want to go out there and get some more work? Well, you're not going to be able to get the welfare benefits. If you want to have this nice, comfy life that we provide for you, do what we say. Don't get no extra job. Don't get an extra man. And check it out. We have this new vax coming out, and you're living in a really highly dense project building. So to protect yourself and everyone else in the building, get this vax. And it might not necessarily be a requirement, as they call it, quote unquote requirement, a mandate. Maybe it's not that, but maybe it's really kind of coercive language. Maybe it's certain things like they were trying to do out here in Tennessee. This was really crazy. And shout out to the NAACP. That'll probably be the only time you hear me say that on this channel. Shout out to the NAACP. But what they wanted to do in Tennessee was bring the National Guard down to the hood, down to their projects, and ask them about their vax status. Matter of fact, I think it might have been their test status at this point. So National Guard in uniform talking about, hey, you want a virus test? So if you got people that live in this kind of area that's really bad already, they see the police all the time, you got government people in their fatigues talking about come get a test, it's very coercive. They feel like they got to take it because I'm in the government housing. Here comes the government themselves, the military. I got to do whatever they say. And they do that same thing for other things that happen as well. If you are funded by the government, they control you, which is why I don't like the big government, because anybody can see this coming. This is what happens. World War II Germany, with the guy with the funny mustache, that's what they did. It was government control. And that's what the left does. Eventually, they want to start to do certain things. They want to engage in socialism. They want to engage in communism. They want to restrict speech and censor and silence and whatnot. How are you going to do that? How are you going to have all these mandates and regulations and rules and whatnot? How is this going to happen in reality? You must have a way to enforce it. You must have a way to make sure that everyone complies. I've been hearing that a whole lot lately. Mandates and compliance and government funded, do what we say, all this, that, and the third. So I wish that the vax mandate was totally eradicated. I'm glad that it got eradicated for private business. But let it be a lesson, anybody who's listening, anybody that's watching, let it be a lesson that if you are government funded, you are government controlled. Don't rely on the government. Rely upon yourself. Rely upon friends and family and have, like, you help them and they help you. Don't let it be a one-sided situation where you're begging for stuff. Have communities where everyone helps and pitches in and does their part to the whole, don't just let it be one way. I take, and don't give back. What did that man say back in the day? You remember the guy, the Kennedy, the OG Kennedy? Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. It's very simple. That should be the way we go forward. And if you don't do that, if you're steadily relying upon the government, gimme, the more they give, the more they're going to take from you as far as rights, freedom, liberty, justice, whatever, because they control you. They are the dad. They are the mom. They are your whole world. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? How do you feel about what's going on here? Do you think they made the right decision as far as having the split decision? No private business vax mandate, but if you are a healthcare worker and you're getting the federal money, then hey, you're getting federal money, so we're going to control you from the federal level. Is that right? Should they even be correct? Although you still, even though it's government money, is it right? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys pretty much know where I stand. This is a lesson to me for sure that you got to be self-sufficient. Rely upon yourself first. Rely upon people. Have them rely upon you. Have a community, but do not rely upon the government. That's the wrong way to go, because when you rely upon them, you become a subject of them. And you don't want that to be your life and your existence. At least I know I don't want that for me. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.